the 5 M's, right? So let's break down the 5 M's. $1 million of life insurance, $1 million worth of real estate portfolio, and you can count your primary residence, $1 million of cash saved, $1 million business, and $1 million line of credit, business line of credit. So I want to help you get the 5 M's. That's the big picture. Then we break it down into the 12 months, and then you break it down into the quarters, and then you break it down by the months, and then you break it down by the weeks, then you break it down by the day, and then you break it down by the hour the night before. So you got to visualize your day, because part of that day is part of your 12-month vision. Oh boy, we just getting warmed up, everybody.
Hello everyone, Alvin Darian here. I spent over 2 decades in the financial industry helping people just like you. As the author of books like Don't Let Adversity Steal Your Legacy and the 8 Financial Breakthroughs, and as the CEO and co-founder of Financial Pro Network, I am proud to present to you the Leadership and Money Podcast.
All right, everyone. Welcome. We're going to get started shortly. Make sure you're in a quiet place and no interruptions, no distractions. Make sure you have your notepad and your pen. Make sure you're taking notes. And we're going to get started in about 1 minute. You know, before we get started, I want you to think about, what are you grateful for, right? So far for 2025, what are you grateful for? Are you grateful to be in good health? Are you grateful for your family, your friends, your business partners? You have to count your blessings every day. You know, you got to count your blessings every day. Today, I'm going to really break down the power of intentions. Okay, the power of intentions. So we're going to get started shortly, everyone. Just have a notepad, pen, or take notes on your phone. Make sure you have no interruptions. I will talk for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we go watch some basketball. All right. So put in the chat, what are you grateful for? What are you thankful for? Who are you thankful for? And today is a new day. Today is the first day for the rest of your life. Today is a day you make new decisions based on your new intentions. So many people in life go through the motions of life, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, do it all over again. And you just showed up because it was Monday, right? You just showed up on Friday because it was payday. And then you notice times go by so fast when you're getting older. And let's say you're 40 years old, now you're 50 years old, now you're 60 years old, now you're 70 years old. You didn't dominate each decade, and some things you wanted to do you didn't get done because you didn't have the focus. So you got to focus on it. And I'm going to share with you how to have more focus and how to have more intentions. So here we go. I'm going to jump right into it. And the power of intentions for wealth and freedom. How many of you want wealth and freedom? See, some people have wealth, but they don't have freedom. You know, think about it. Some doctors, they have the wealth, but no time freedom. And people with time freedom, they don't have the wealth, but it's great. It'll be great if you can have both, right? One of my favorite books I'm going to break down today is Dr. Wayne Dyer. You know, some of you probably notice him on PBS, and I tell you what, I go through this book at least once a year, and you have to understand the power of your intentions, right? Intentions is a force in the universe, and everything and everyone connected to an invisible force. And see, our intentions will help you go to the next level. Your intentions create your reality, right? And sometimes your reality can be discovered through words. And what kind of words are you using? Because words are living things. When it comes to money, when it comes to a financial breakthrough, what are your intentions? Have you had a financial breakdown? Sometimes you got to have a breakdown to get a breakthrough, right? And so in this session, I'm going to walk you through 8 intentions that's going to help you create future abundance. You want cash flow abundance. You want wealth abundance. You want relationship abundance. You want to have your cash flow and new conversations and new circles and new money and new friends. You want to eliminate your debt. You want to build a legacy, and you want to have a lifestyle all at the same time. So some people say, well, how do you do it? You have to be intentional about it. You got to shift your mindset, right? It's a mindset. What is your mindset on? Are you set on just making money or what money can do for you? Are you set on debt? Or are you thinking about a business that can pay the servicing of the debt? All right, so attention and intentions is two different things, right? Some of you want attention. Some of you need attention. Some of you looking for attention. And some people are not paying attention. But what about your intentions, right? What triggers you to do what you do? What makes you move? What makes you go? What makes you want to learn more, want to get more information? See, people are stuck in information, and you got to have the intention to go to education. And when you go to education, now we go to implementation. But you got to have the right intentions and the right coach. We're going to have some fun today, everyone. So our thoughts create a reality, and now it's more evident, and it shows up in your grown folk report card. So what is that? Your grown folk report card is three things. Your credit report, your financial statements, and your relationships. You know, you tell your kids to make good grades in school, science and math and language arts and history and all that stuff and math, right? But what is your report card as an adult? Your credit score, your financial statement, and your relationships. So we got to shift your mindset so that you can have abundance, right? So what are your intentions towards building wealth? Let's break it down. So always remember this. You know, if you're around the right people and you're having the right conversations, you're going to make better decisions, and you're going to make the right decision because you're around a different circle of conversation, right? What table are you sitting at? Are you sitting at the broke table? Are you sitting at the poor table? Are you sitting at the just making it table? Are you sitting at the barely getting by table? Are you sitting at the saving table, the investing table, the net worth, profit margin, right? You want to get to a new table this year because you got to shift your conversation, right? So the first intention when it comes to building wealth, when it comes to having freedom, the number one intention is that you got to have a vision where you're going and who you're going with. You got to have a vision. And the only way you have a vision, you got to have clarity. That creates confidence. See, when you have clarity, it creates confidence. And what does financial freedom look like? What does financial abundance look like to you? What will your financial future look like based on the decisions you're making today? See, the decisions you make today will shape and form your future and future generations. Now, you got to have a 12-month financial vision plan. 12-month financial vision plan. And you're going to make adjustments along the way, right? And so I'm not going to get into it right now, but some of you know part of my personal plan is what I call the 5 Ps, right? The 5 Ps, you got to have a big vision, right? And so you want to have not the 5 Ps, the 5 Ms. That's another training. That's more leadership. The 5 Ms, right? So let's break down the 5 Ms. $1 million of life insurance, $1 million worth of real estate portfolio, and you can count your primary residence, $1 million of cash saved, $1 million business, and $1 million line of credit, business line of credit. So I want to help you get the 5 M's. That's the big picture. Then we break it down into the 12 months, and then you break it down into the quarters, and then you break it down by the months, and then you break it down by the weeks, then you break it down by the day, and then you break it down by the hour the night before. So you got to visualize your day, because part of that day is part of your 12-month vision. Oh boy, we just getting warmed up, everybody. So the next intention, number 2, income expansion. You got to have multiple streams of income, not multiple streams of distractions. You know, you ever notice a person got this business and that business and this business and that business, and it doesn't correlate together, right? You want to have 7 streams of income, but can you be in the same industry? And once you build one, then you can go to another stream of income. Wealth is not limited. It's only by your mindset. So you got to create systems in place so that your family can win, so that your business will continue to have cash flow. Write that down, cash flow. Do you want a paycheck or do you want cash flow? So you got to have your business income, your investment income, your passive income, right? You got to make sure you create a new stream of income that you have a passion for. Don't do anything you don't have a passion for. Don't do anything you don't like to do because the money is good. No, how long is that going to last? The third intention, everyone, is the intention to become debt free. The intention of debt freedom. How would that make you feel? Do you have your debt freedom parties scheduled? Do you have your title party scheduled? You get a title, you have a party. You pay your car off, you have a party. Pay your house off, you have a party, right? Title party. When the last title party you went to? When was the last debt-free party you went to? Hey, house is paid off party. You got to have those intentions, right, to become debt-free. So when you become debt-free, that frees up cash flow. Now, there's a difference between just using debt for personal use and entertainment versus using it to grow a business. So you got to eliminate that. Money is only a problem when there is a money problem. Money is only a concern when money is a concern. Guess what? You can't put debt all the ways on money problems. Put debt on it. Put debt on it. Now, if you refinance your house and all that, that's a little different. But guess what? You're putting energy towards it and it's growing. Are you more afraid of the servicing of the monthly of debt or the lump sum of debt? Most people, when I talk to them these days, like student loans, I'm like, all right, cool. You're paying $150 a month. It's not that big of a deal. But for some people, they're thinking about, the largest one I've ever seen was 196 so far, 196,000. So I'm like, yeah, you got to pay that down. You may never pay it down. You got to have a way to pay it down. You got to have the right mindset, right? So here we go. Let's go to the next part here. The next part I want to share with you is, generational wealth. You have to be intentional about generational wealth. And that starts with a family meeting. You got to have the intention to leave a legacy. You're going to have some for lifestyle and you're going to have some for legacy. Some for lifestyle, leave some for legacy, right? So how do you leave legacy? How do you leave generational wealth? In my professional opinion, in 22 years of doing this, the best way to leave generational wealth is life insurance and real estate. You can leave business equity. You may leave a business, but really, will your kids continue or your children continue to run your business? You think about it. Back in the day, it was a family farm. Most people don't want to run the family farm anymore. It was a family restaurant. Nobody wants to run the family restaurant anymore. And they see you struggle in the business, so your kids are paying attention. And you're like, I'm going to leave this business to my kids. But all they saw was a struggle. When it started taking off, they already went to college and they saw the struggle. So in their mind, they're like, I don't want that business. I don't want that. So inherit wealth, old money, life insurance, real estate. You don't build your net worth, you buy your net worth. That's a whole nother conversation right there. Most money will only last 3 to 4 generations. There's some families out there getting ready to run out of money, some big name families. So if they're getting ready to run out of money, and I'll call them out, hey, the Vanderbilts, right? There's a book called What Would the Rockefellers Do? I highly recommend it. It breaks it down in there. So you got to have your family future in mind. Number 5, intentions, right? The power of intention, the power of financial education. It's not taught in school. It's not your parents' fault. They did the best that they can do with the information they had at the time, right? So that was the best information they had at the time that they gave you. So the intention is to become financially literate, right? You need to know that it's going to cost you money not to learn about money. It's going to cost you money not to have the wealthy strategies. You got to execute on the plan. You don't just get information and pile up information. How much information you need? You got to commit to reading every day, commit to a financial class, commit to our group. You want to join our group? We're going to drop in the chat soon how to jump into our group, right? Here's the next one of my favorite ones. The intention of money flow. Money is a currency. Currency must flow. You can't just stop currency, right? Why do we call it currency? Why do we call it cash flow, right? And if you ever read the money in your pocket, it will trip you out. The writing on the money, right? That would be another training, but you need money to cash flow. You needed to come in. I asked a client the other day, I said, do you rather have a lump sum of $500,000 or do you rather have $5,000 guaranteed every month for the rest of your life? Put in the chat. Which one would you pick? $500,000 cash or $5,000 a month for the rest of your life, right? $500,000 cash up front on the table or guaranteed $5,000 a month for life. Which one do you rather have? You're going to get mixed answers. Depends on your age, but I'll tell you at my age right now, I would take the $5,000 a month for life. Cash flow, right? Create a system that brings money in. Create your own money machine that brings in money. Get paid by the word. Get paid by the handshake. Get paid by every time you help a family, whatever line of work you do, right? You got to have a system in place. Your action step is to have some of your investments on automatic. You want to get higher rates of returns, and you want to have a cash flow system that generates cash flow, right? Generates cash flow. Number 7, the intention of giving, right? You want to give more, but you want to give with a good heart and good intentions. Some people give to receive, right? See, takers are very good at taking from givers, and givers are very good at giving to takers. Right. So you got to understand it comes back around. It comes back to you. What kind of energy did you put into the give? Right. Did you have great energy? When you have good energy and you're around the good energy and people give in and it comes back to you. When we go out to eat, people are like, man, why do you tip so high? I'm like, why not? It's like, man, you tipped her like 50%, 40%, 30%, at least 30%. Why? Because I know that person is dependent on the tip. They say they gave us bad service and you still, hey, listen, guess what? I'm going to talk to them, let them know, say, hey, you're good, but you got to work on this. I'm still tip you good, but I want you to improve on that. See, some people are going to fuss and complain, but I'm telling you, it comes back to you, everybody. Right? You don't want to have money fear when you're giving. That's not a good energy. That's not good intentions right there. So you pay your tithes, you donate, you invest in someone's growth. I put a lot of time in investing in other people's growth, right? Maybe I may help you with a plane ticket to go to a conference, or maybe I may pour into your business, or maybe I may give you some coaching, and invoice you $0 or something like that. So there's different ways of giving. And number 8, the intention of execution. You thinking about it, you want to do it, you tired, you don't want to do it. You do all this back and forth stuff. Just take massive action. Take action now. Get it done now. If it takes 5 minutes to do it right now. Stop procrastinating. People procrastinate all the time, right? A dream without execution is just a wish. People just need to take more action. So drop in the chat action right quick. Just drop in there action. You ready to take action? We went over the 8 intentions, and I'll have this PDF ready for you too. And I want to tell you this. Let's have a roadmap with these intentions. Let's make sure you have a coach. You have a community that cares about you, right? Not just be part of a community, but a community that cares about you. Now it's time for you to show up with intentions. It's time for you to show up with an action plan. Think about it. You're going to think, you got to think big. Some people think small. People look at me like I'm crazy all the time because I think big. I don't want to think small. Your future starts with the decisions you make today, right? That's where your future starts. So now is the time for you to take action, have more intentions. You're going to have better relationships. You're going to make more money. You're going to have better conversations. So just drop wealth in the chat. You want to be part of our group, part of our community. Just drop the word wealth in the chat. And I'll close with this. I open up with this and I'll close with this. Stop going through the motions of life. Do us a favor. Stop going through the motions, right? You showed up because it was Monday. You showed up because it was Friday. You showed up because it was practice. You showed up because we had a training. Stop going through the motions of life. You got to take action. You got to be intentional. How many more summers do you have? Right? How many more summers? Some of you may be 50 years old. You may live to 100, but you may have 50 more summers. How many Saturdays in a year? 52. Who are you going to spend those 52 Saturdays with? 52 Sundays with? You got to be intentional about it. And if you live out of town, how many more times you're going to see your parents? You may see your parents 4 times a year. How many more times you're going to see it? See, time is ticking. You got to move. Stop standing still all the time, right? Your behavior, your decision making, your conversations, your relationships is going to determine who you are. Are you spending money? Are you investing money? What kind of words are you using? Words paint pictures in your mind. You see the pebble, right? We throw it in the pond. We see the splash, but you don't see the ripple effect. Those words are the ripple effect. Sometimes you can't take words back. You can't put toothpaste back in the tooth. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. You just can't do it. Once the toothpaste is out, it's out. I got a whole 30-minute training on that one. So new words, new relationships, new conversations lead to new connections. New circles, new connections, new money, new friends. This is your time. I believe in you. Somebody just need to believe in you. I believe in you. If you need one-on-one coaching, just call me. Just schedule a time. 15 minutes can change your entire life. I don't mind the first 15 minutes. It is time for you to take charge of your life. You are the CEO of your life. I believe in you. I want you to win. Let's be intentional with our future. And everyone, always remember this. Look like your legacy, not your adversity. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for your time today. Have a productive day and not a busy day. To all the world champions and first-generation millionaires, I will see you at the top because the bottom is too crowded with excuses. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Take care and God bless everyone.